I'm Steve Denuser. I'm the lead narrative designer on World of Warcraft.
So Steve, change of domination. Holy crap! There's so much coming, and from a story perspective, and a lot coming full circle, which is what I've been conspiracy theorying for years of Sylvanas becoming what she hates, becoming the Lich King, becoming what Arthas made her. Talk about like from a narrative standpoint where the story's going now.
Well, Sylvanas is one of our pivotal characters in Warcraft for sure. She has such a rich history, and she's a character that so many people have different perspectives on. She's done heroic things. She died saving her people. She's done terrible things. What she did to the Night Elves is something that that they can't forgive. And so her story is very much intertwined with what's going on now in Shadowlands. And in the past, she had to be so much kind of cagey about her motivation. She had to keep so much veiled or secret. And that's why it was important to us, like in one of those cinematics with her and Anduin, where she says, no more secrets, no more lies. Now she gets to lay out the truth of what's driving her all this time. And but it's not that simple, right? Like we've seen her as she and Anduin interacted. We picked up on that storyline of she's trying to win him to their cause because she has something that she believes in, that the jailer can make a better way for death and life to work. And she wants Anduin to believe in that, and Anduin is not. He's steadfast. He's a believer in the good things, and so she tried to work away at that, and then she had to come to a choice. Is she going to enforce the jailer's will upon him, as had been done to her in the past, perhaps? Or is she going to choose a different path? And we get that answer in the Chains of Domination intro cinematic. So her story, Anduin's story, is pivotal to kind of the drama of the Shadowlands, and it's something that we have spent a lot of time thinking about and talking about on the team, and we're very excited as this is going to unfold. It is one of the keystones of the storyline of Shadowlands.
Is it difficult designing narrative for specific characters, especially since the game has such a long history? You can't just have like a focus on a redemption story, or a focus on a vengeance story, or a focus on a heroic loyalty story, or honor story. Because I feel like you go in and out between storylines so much because you have 16 years of lore to work with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we, as much as we love all of our characters, we can't tell stories about all of them at once. You have to focus the attention. And so certain expansions, the storylines of those expansions are more fitting to some characters than others. And obviously, as we built towards entering this realm of afterlives and death, Sylvanas was a pivotal character for telling that story. So it's there's certainly challenges when you have characters with such long histories and such varied histories as Sylvanas, but it also gives you a lot of opportunities because there's so many memorable moments and storylines that you can tap into. And our cinematics artists, Taryn Gregory and his team, are just so phenomenal at referencing some of those most memorable shots of Warcraft's past, but pulling them into the present and helping us tell the stories of now. So it's also a rich and wonderful opportunity to have so much to draw upon.
In this expansion specifically, there were a lot of like kind of turn your head and smile moments because you got to use characters that have been dead for years and haven't really been in the Warcraft lore. Uther, Draka, and others. Like, what was it like bringing those characters back and making them work their way into the story in a way that made sense?
Yeah, because the Shadowlands, as the afterlife for all of Azeroth's history and other worlds' history, it kind of laid out so many opportunities for us to choose from. Like, what characters could we best pull in to make feel like part of this cohesive story? And we didn't want Shadowlands to just be kind of this greatest hits of like
a cameo.
Yeah, like endless cameos and endless callbacks, and so we spent a lot of time. Again, I'll say that we spend so much time in iteration and talking and planning to really focus on some characters that we felt could tell this very new and timely story for Shadowlands, but also reference a lot of Warcraft's past. And so it was a great opportunity, rather than, maybe some more obvious choices, to take a character like Draka, who had been, she has a prominent role in history, but we've seen her only in books or in Warlords of Draenor, where it was a different version of her. So this was a great opportunity to tell her story, and it was one that echoes throughout Maldraxxus and all the other afterlives of the Shadowlands. And we did that with the other Covenant characters as well, Uther being the embodiment of Bastion, and how their ways kind of got off track and broken. That happened to him as well because of the past that he had with Arthas. And so that's just it gave us a lot to chew on, and gave us a lot of storytelling opportunities to kind of have this wide palette of characters, and then really hone in on the ones we felt could help us tell this Shadowlands story.
It's funny because, watching the Uther cinematic and seeing his character evolve in the Shadowlands, everyone was so shocked about the way he acted, but for me, I was watching that going like, shit, man, justice demands retribution. He's been saying it for years. Why is this a shock to anybody?
Yeah, it's a very human reaction, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the key, that no matter what crazy realms we're journeying to, how fantastic they are, no matter what kind of wild monsters we're facing, or even what race we're playing as, whether it's orcs or gnomes or whatever, like there still has to be something fundamentally human and relatable about the way these characters react. And so of course Uther, with all of that, feeling let down by Arthas, betrayed by him, he took that so personally. And then to have his life ended that way, of course it's going to haunt him. Of course it's going to embody itself as this wound that will not heal. So it was just so great to see that story unfold. And it's not done yet, because we'll get to go further into his story in Chains of Domination.
And I have to ask, it's because it's on everyone's mind, Saurfang, Varian, where are these two? They died, right? They're somewhere here. They're hiding somewhere. Where are they?
Well, part of the process too of choosing which characters we were going to feature was, well, which characters do we feel like, it'd be great to revisit again, someone like Saurfang or Varian, but they also had very heroic endings, and they went out in a way that was pivotal to those expansion storylines when they happened. And so there's also the thing of being careful to not retread ground or just hash things up just for the sake of, again, kind of a callback or something that you'd like. I will say that the influence of those characters is certainly something that is present in Shadowlands. It's something that influences the way that Anduin is dealing with the circumstances he's being put into. So whether or not they show up in a physical way, I think that the lessons that they taught Anduin and other characters will certainly be a factor in the unfolding storyline before us.
You guys had a huge teaser in some of the Rune Carver's memories of the Helm of Domination and Frostmourne having roots with the Jailer and his overall vision. Are we going to explore that in Chains of Domination? Like perhaps what was controlling Arthas was not just Ner'zhul or his darkest desire, but maybe the Jailer himself?
Yes, we will continue to explore that storyline, because that was, again, a very deliberate underlying tone of what was going on. We saw that Rune Carver memory where the Jailer demanded that he make these items, these weapons of domination. And then we saw the after effects of that, right? We saw what happened when they got to Azeroth. But there's a lot of connective tissue in between that we need to fill in those blanks. We've hinted at some of it. There was a book in Revendreth that gave some hints as to some nefarious villains that might have been involved in that plot. And in this update, Chains of Domination, will continue to further that storyline and see some things there. So the blanks will fill in over time, and you'll be able to connect the dots. But we didn't just want to drop that all at once. It's kind of a mystery that's meant to unfold over time.
As someone who's been playing the game consistently, not just World of Warcraft, but Warcraft 2 for 16 years, it was so great. It was, I mean, like I said, it's hard. It's got to be hard not to like shoehorn them in, right? Not to just camo in, because Sunstrider plays such a huge role, and it was so cool to see him. And for me, it was completely unexpected. I went into that raid, and the second I said that voice sounds really familiar, I was like, holy crap, it's it's Kale.
Yeah.
It was a really cool moment for me.
Yeah, it's again, we wanted to talk about characters that would fit the themes of the zones that we were building. And when you're dealing with Revendreth, a place where the most prideful, arrogant souls are sent, I mean, come on, that script writes itself. Of course Kael'thas would be there, because for whatever he was trying to do, and he did have certainly some noble motivations in there, but the ways that he went about things, I think Revendreth was a place well suited for him. And if you played the Venthyr campaign, you got to spend a lot of time with him and see that at least the process is working a bit. He is learning some lessons after he gets freed from Castle Nathria, that maybe there is some mistakes that he could in some way atone for, and his story will be one of those that again continues in Chains of Domination.
Now, I want to talk about one character that was a surprisingly really fan favorite with everybody, Blonsambi. When your narrative team was designing him and made him a part of the Battle for Azeroth, did you expect such a warm reception to that character? I mean, he's even in this expansion, he has his own dungeon practically.
No, we didn't. So we obviously, as we're planning the storyline of Zandalar and the Zandalari people, we knew that Blonsamdi was one of the Loa that we wanted to feature. And so we kind of started out and we plotted out the cinematic that was going to kind of intro the Zandalari experience. And pretty much as soon as we got the actor Alex Desir into the booth, we went, holy cow, we struck gold. We're onto something here. And when everyone in the acting session is like blown away and laughing and having fun, that character's role has to grow. And so it was because of Alex's awesome performance that we said, man, this is a character we're going to feature in this expansion. And when we cross over to the Shadowlands, of course we're going to go to his realm, the other side. Of course we're going to make some more deals with him and see some of the deals he's made with other people. It was just so much fun. And I can tell you, even in the midst of the pandemic and the challenges that we have with recording voices, we jumped on this session with Alex and myself, Andrea Toyas, our casting director, and Alex. We were just laughing, rolling on the floor because we're having so much fun recording the other side lines and Blonsamdi's part in this expansion. It was just an act of joy, and so we love having him as one of the characters we featured.
That's great, Steve. I'm going to stop it there to move on to design, but I could talk to you forever. Obviously, you can see I'm a huge WoW fanatic. I love the lore. Yes. Everything that you're hinting and dropping is so enjoyable from a lore perspective, and just even hinting, it's super fun for me. I can't wait to see what's around the corner for Chains of Domination as far as the story goes. So Thank you for all your hard work on that.
Absolutely. Thanks. It's been really fun talking to you.